Early on, I learned that communication is vital to any relationship that we are in. And one of the things that I am very proud, very grateful to say is that our mother, she spoke with us. It wasn't about talking down to us. She communicated with us and she listened. And even till this day, we can talk to our mother about anything. She may not want to hear it, but I believe she knows it's vital to hear some of the things that we have to talk about. And I've noticed even today, my brothers have shared this, that many people, unfortunately, do not have communicative relationships, or their communication is off. That maybe only they only talk about the comfortable things, if you get what I'm saying. So work, what you're cooking, things like that. But when it comes to the nitty gritty of a person, because if you listen long enough, the truth eventually comes out. And I remember hearing somewhere along my nursing career that um, the purpose of communication is to share information. And given that all the things that have happened, over our past, present, that there's always something to share, right? There's always something, some experience that we are going through that may leave us in doubt or fear or anger, guilt. We may experience those emotions, they may come visit us. And the question is, what do you do with that information? Because it's almost like it has to find its way out of the person. I think speaking it does that. It allows you to voice what it is that is going on inside of you. And often when we write things down, or when we voice it, when it comes out of us, we're able to properly put it in its place to make sense of it. Hence, that's why you have therapy, and different types of therapy. You have where people feel better about talking about the issues they're going through and having a listening ear. And there's a Bible verse that says to basically be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to become angry. And when we think about the family concept, when we think about this, is create a generational love cycle. And as you know, the reason why I called it this instead of break the cycle, the generational cycle of pain, is because you want to focus on what you want to recreate in life instead of what you don't want. And that was one of the things that I got from just over the time hearing to great leaders speak, is that we focus on what it is we want. Because if our thoughts play a role and what we experience and what comes to fruition, then we need to focus on how do we put our thoughts out there that they can bring the best possible situation to us, right? Instead of negative, instead of bringing more discomfort, more at ease, how can we focus our thoughts in such a way that we bring more positive things to us? So, we're talking about communication. And when was the last time you checked your communication pulse with yourself, with honesty with yourself, with being truthful, with writing or voicing your thoughts? One of the things that I've shared, something that is in my manuscript, my memoir, one of my memoirs, is that as a girl, if I felt anger, I say, I feel angry. I feel frustrated. And when I would voice that, it was almost like it would release that was in me. It would give it room, it would give it space. Instead of holding it in and saying, I don't feel angry, I felt like there was a sense of freedom that came with that. And somehow we lose that because, we feel sometimes as we get older that we should not voice our opinions, that it's something to, people want to label you as weak and unable to cope. Um, but I don't think it's about that. I think it's about um, releasing that which is in you that may it be hampering or be a barrier to you expressing the love within you. I remember that when I was an early mother with my son Cameron, and it just seems like, because I thought communication was important, I would tell him what we were going to do that day, if there was something going on a trip, a plane, or wherever it was. And I noticed that when I would talk to him, and I get chills just saying this, when I would talk to him about stuff ahead of time, we would have a good result. He would be more calm, more centered, if you will. And I realized that, and I kept doing that with my daughter, talking to them about what we're going to do. Communication. I got that from my mother, that communication is vital to relationships with our children. It's vital to all relationships. It's vital to marriages. My husband and I had been in an incident experience where there was a lack of communication. And luckily, though, my husband and I continued to communicate throughout the ordeal. And we came out with our communication, I believe, he believes, being stronger, knowing how vital it is for husband and wives to communicate. Because some people may think you don't. You tell the husband one thing and the wife doesn't know. And it could have been where he was at work and I was going to work, and who was going to be there for our children, because there was lack of communication. And I won't get into the details, but where is if you are married or significant other, what is your communication pulse with that person? Do you talk about things? Do you listen to the person? Do you listen to what they're saying? Do you listen what's in their heart? Do you give them time to think about things, to process life experiences? Are you open to when that person walks in the bedroom or walks in the house and just want to speak? Are you slow to speak and quick to listen? Do you recognize when someone you love needs time, needs space? When your children, as they grow and mature and develop, when they need space? That communication is important, but communication is also to the nonverbal communication, the space, the nonverbal, listening to them, listening to see what they really need this time. Do they need to talk, or do they need to just be quiet and just take the information in? And when they're ready to talk, to be open, I mean, truly open, where you're focused on them and you're not just listening with your ears, but you're listening beyond your heart. You're listening with the spirit in you, within you, that is linked to the master spirit, the spirit that created this world and beyond, that you can say or do or be whatever that person needs at that given time. That this spiritual, sacred relationship grows because of your alignment with higher spirit. Because all of us are part of this higher spirit, and all of us on a journey of evolution, of evolving to our highest spiritual expression, alignment of the personality with the spirit. There was a time when people say, hey, you're a child, go in there and be still, be quiet, but there's so much going on now that there is a time and a place, and there's proper speech to speak with our children about things that are happening, to have a conversation with them, and not to talk down to them, but to be willing to listen to what they have to say. Many things, but when you think about bullying and online cyberbullying, in-class bullying, how can we prevent things from happening? It's about communication and being open to what things, be open to our experiences, and to make sure our children know there is an open line of communication. I would love it when my son and daughter would hop into the car and automatically tell me what went on to school with school that day. And I made sure, no matter when I was not feeling well, eventually being diagnosed with pneumonia, I made sure that I followed up with my children's concern because I know that I want to keep the lines of communication open. And I pray that you do too. That whatever you're going through, whoever you're with, if there's any issues that need to be addressed, if you feel like that someone really needs that listening ear, if you feel like this is a day that you really want to, there's some things that you have been holding inside of yourself, because that information that we take in, the information can we wire our body, our nervous system to a point where we experience unhealthy physical symptoms because of the data that we store inside of us. And you've heard of that saying, let go, let God, give it to God. Um, and it's giving up, a surrendering when we communicate, when we open our hearts and our minds and our thoughts to others, and we allow them to do the same for us. We open our heart, we open the spiritual door, and we say, speak, I am listening, I am here, speak to me. We need to have that attitude with our children, that attitude with our spouse, with our uh, associates and friends. And I believe if we had more communication, that I am truly listening beyond my ears, beyond my heart. I'm listening in spirit to what you have to say, because there's a spiritual answer. There's a spiritual resolution for us all. This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. Have you checked your communication pulse recently with yourself and with those that you love? Because this is about breaking this generational cycle of pain, not listening, because everyone is a student and teacher. And no matter what age you are, from the baby to the older person, they are your teachers. Your children are your teachers as well as they are students. They have a lot to tell us about ourselves, a lot to show us, a lot of joy and creativity and positivity about life. They have so much to share with us as you have to share with them. So have you checked your communication pulse? I'll talk to you soon. Again, this is Tamika with Create a Generational Love Cycle. And check out the messages I put on Fulfill Your Purpose, my Facebook page, where I do heart-to-heart sessions. Why, heart disease is one of the leading causes of death among men and women. And the heart is the center of joy, that garden of Eden within all of us. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourselves. Create a generational love cycle by changing the thoughts that created it created the pain cycle in the first place. Talk to you guys soon.